What's up, Gridiron Nation? Welcome back to Gridiron Glory Media Day. We're here for our third edition of the Coaches Roundtable. I have 4 SVC coaches and Coach Woodward of Wheelersburg. So we're going to get right into it. So we'll start with what's been the main focus for each of you guys this offseason to get better this year. So we'll start with Coach Dye of Paint Valley.
Building depth. Our goal has always, been to try to build as much depth as possible. I mean, with the school our size, injuries can be brutal. So our big focus was trying to build as much depth as we can at every position.
Coach Hoops, do you know?
A little bit of what Coach Dye said. We lost 14 seniors from last year's team, so we've got a lot of guys coming back, but we've got guys that really haven't performed under the Friday Night Lights yet. So just trying to find guys who can play and who can, as well as just continue to get bigger, faster, and stronger fall off season, and try to stay as healthy as we can going into week 1.
Yeah. Coach Blair, Southeastern?
Really just focused on different ways we can win little things every day. Each kid can go away each day with something they want. That's been our focus, just trying to make winning a habit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Coach Blair, St. Trans.
Yeah, so I came in new this year and really got to start being with the kids around the start of June, late May. So I really just kind of hammered trying to build relationships with the kids, spend as much time as I can, get to know the kids, get them to know me and what I kind of expect. And obviously hammer in the weight room and really trying to get bigger, stronger, faster, just as Coach Hoop said. But yeah, really just trying to build relationships and get to know my kids and get them to know me.
Yeah, Coach Woodward.
Yeah, strength and conditioning is always a focus. Since January, we've worked with all that. And then as we've gotten into the summer months, we have a lot of athletes that play multiple sports, so we try to start on those relationships with them as a team or as a unit, put them in some situations that develop team chemistry. We have some outings, things that we take them and work to be a part of and develop that. And, we've really switched over the last couple of years, too, to developing mental toughness. We work so much on the physical game, but we've really tried to up our mental part of the game and what we're able to develop out of our student athletes going into preseason.
Right. Yeah. So I'm going to move kind of towards you guys. We're going to be talking about your teams and your players all year, but I kind of want to get to know you guys a little bit better. So what is your preparation like on game day? I'm assuming for players it's a lot of music, it's a lot of getting pumped up, but what are you guys like? You guys more even-keeled? Are you guys pumped up like they are? Can you go into that, Coach Dye?
And I can't sit around. It's just not me. I can't sit and think about the game. So usually what I do is I kind of have a ritual that I look over the game sheet or the call sheet and just make sure that I've got everything that I need. And usually I'm like laying stuff out for the kids in their lockers and stuff like that. So I try to stay as busy as possible. That's how I handle it.
Yeah, Coach Hoops.
Same way. I feel like game day during the school day, it feels like it takes forever. And when you get out of school, it's you have a period of time that you have to fill and try to take a nap or relax or whatever. I can't do that. So a lot like Coach Dye, just continuing to stay busy. And the running joke is like I'm always doing something in the locker room, in the office, and the coaches are like, "You need help with something." I don't, because I just got to keep going to kind of get rid of some of that nervous energy and make sure everyone's prepared and everything's taken care of. So I feel like I stay really busy all the way up till we go out to warm up.
Yeah, Coach Blair.
Yeah, similar to these guys. I can't just sit down. We got a lot of checklists that our assistant coaches go through on where our equipment's at and our review for our scouting sheets and making sure all the equipment's in the lockers. I like to review that stuff with the assistant coaches and just stay as busy as I can.
Yeah.
I know I'm saying the same answer. These guys are right. It's if you don't stay busy, it seems like each minute takes an hour during game day. So try to find different stuff to do. I don't really get pumped up like the players always say. I kind of try to stay loose but focused. I kind of run different situations through my head and think about situations that we may go through in the game where I can kind of run it through my head and be prepared for that situation if we may get there. So I kind of ran through mentally, so it's there's no pause out on the field. I'm ready for what may come.
Right. Yeah, Coach Woodward.
Yeah, I take a little different maybe on Fridays, and it's just kind of come over the course of I've been able to do this the last couple of years. All that work and all those things I put in Monday through Thursday, it's almost like Friday is is my spirit day. Yeah, I'm so excited that day. I actually get to have lunch that day. I go out for lunch, and I usually grab Wendy's and pull up at the parking lot right overlooking the field and kind of just relax, roll the window down, feel the breeze, and enjoy, because that's, we meet with players at lunch, sometimes at school through the week, and everything's just a hustle bustle. And Friday kind of feels like that, like I've got everything done. Of course, I'm running through my mind and going over all the different things that we have, but we started a leadership breakfast that we kick the mornings off at 7 a.m. Kids come, local church, and I have a speaker that comes and addresses them, and that puts me on cloud 9 every time, and just mentally has me just so engaged, whatever message that they passed along, and that spirit just kind of runs through the rest of the day. And as long as I've got those things taken care of throughout the week, it kind of becomes that spirit day that, hey, let's just go have fun, play the game.
So what's the go-to lunch order at Wendy's then?
Oh, it's usually, I really like those pub burgers that they had with the pretzel bun. They discontinued those for a little bit, so it seems to be the one that doesn't give me that heartburn at 1 o'clock in the morning, when you're finally, calming down
Yeah, coming off.
and coming off of everything and trying to get wrapped up. But so I don't know what it'll be now that they kind of discontinued.
Yeah,
So,
you have to find something that works.
Yeah.
All right. So again, another question about you guys. Kind of what are some coaches that have kind of taken you under your wing, or some different schemes that you've seen from coaches? This could be other high school coaches, college coaches, or NFL coaches. So we'll start over here with Coach Woodward.
Well, for me, starting off, the first playoffs that I ever saw as anything in high school football was 2002 state championship games, and I saw Coldwater play, and Chip Otten at Coldwater, and that was the first one I ever attended or been a part of, or first time I'd ever even seen high school playoffs. And I was graduated from college, and I didn't know anything about it. But my takeaway from that, I took notes and I wrote so many things down. And I learned so much, and we were blessed to get to play them in 2015. And then I coached with Chip in the North-South All-Star game, and just the ideas and the bouncing ideas and pulling things from him was really great for me. I have I'm drawing a blank here as Ron Hinton is another one that I've talked with a lot when he was at Chillicothe, and communicated. We scrimmaged for a number of years, and Ron and I bounced a lot of ideas and just kind of soaking up some different clinics and things that he's had. So those are just two names that come to mind real early, but gosh, I've learned so much from my assistants that we've been together now 20 years, and the things that they brought from the Ed Miller days at Wheelersburg, and what they've been able to instill. That I wouldn't be the coach that I am without those assistants and the things they brought to the program. So, just always trying to build off of one another.
Coach Weirs?
Yeah. There's too many to name, honestly. They say it's kind of a copycat game, and I truly believe that. I've grabbed little different bits and pieces from NFL coaches, college coaches, high school coaches. I went to little tiny peewee games to watch my nephew and grab stuff that I thought I could use to help me coach as well. So I'd sit here all day if I explained every little thing. I would say I gravitate kind of towards coaches that I feel are a general same style as myself. I'm kind of a younger coach, or started at a really young age, but I kind of consider myself old school. I try not to overcomplicate what I think is a very simple game, and just really, kind of focus on programs that I feel really pride themselves on working hard and knowing that it's a physical game where you've got to be tough, and you've got to play as a team. And I be myself. I don't really try to emulate anyone. I want to be myself, and I'll be the best at being myself. But I really kind of focus on different coaches that really value those super simple things that make the game great.
Yeah, like he kind of said, there's so many that you steal from, you take from, little stuff, whether it's scheme or team building stuff. But for me, I think the guy who gave me my first coaching job, Scott Tomlinson, who's still the head coach at Eastern, I learned a ton from him in the 3 years there. And in other places I've been, and my assistant coaches, and guys I've not coached with, people like Travis Moyer, who's the head coach at Wapakoneta. He's a guy that's 3 hours from us that I can text and ask him a question about something, and he'll get back with me. So it's stuff like that, stealing from people and things you like, and having good mentors like those two guys.
Coach Hoops?
My coaching staff that I have is most of the guys on the staff are quite a bit older than me, and just being able to, those guys have been doing it. I mean, this is my 4th season, but them having so much experience has really been beneficial to me. When I got the job 3 years ago, Coach Hall from Jackson was one of the first people that reached out to me, and he and I have become great friends. Actually, Coach Dye and I started coaching in the league at the same time too, so I've learned a lot from him and his program, and my old high school coach, Tim Daly, as well as our offensive coordinator right now, Bill Bryant. Those guys have just been doing it and have done it for so long that, you take stuff from them, and like all these other guys have said, you just watch and you take and you steal and you borrow, and it really is a simple game. I mean, no one's reinventing it. You block and you tackle and limit turnovers and penalties, and you give yourself a chance to win. But just the way that different people go about it has been really neat to kind of learn as I've been doing this.
Yeah, Coach Dye.
Well, mine's a little different. Gary Schaefer, basketball coach that I played for in high school. He's in the Hall of Fame. He won over 700 games, and he's probably the greatest coach I've ever had. Along with Roy Lucas, who's Jerry Lucas's brother. I had the pleasure and fortune of playing for him when I was in high school. And probably as far as the coaches now, just like Matt said, Andy Hall, he's a great mentor. I know he's talked to a lot of coaches, but I was pretty fortunate. In 2010, I coached in the North-South All-Star game and became real good friends with him. And there's been a lot that I've taken from his program and kind of how he manages things and how he structures it. Jason Prater from AP Prep, one of our strength conditioning kind of guys that we go to, we use their program, really like it. And again, I was introduced to him from Andy Hall. So, but kind of like what they said, there's so many coaches that I've talked to, I've learned from my guys from my coaching staff. Coaches are the biggest thieves. We steal from one another, and when we see something that we like, I know I'm this way. If I see something I like from a coach, even if we're in the same league or conference, or whatever, I'll call them straight up and say, hey, I want to learn from you. I want to learn kind of how to do that. And but I'm not afraid to call or approach a coach and just learn, because that's how you get better.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So one thing I'm curious on, is there a certain motivational tagline or motivational phrase that you guys kind of use year in and year out? Is there one specific to this year? And kind of explain that. So for example, like at my high school, they use lock the gates. So it's like we go out on that field, lock the gates, only one team's coming out the other side. Is there kind of like a motivational phrase or tagline that you guys use to fire up your players, or fire up your coaches? Start with Coach Woodward over there.
We have all kinds of little sayings that our guys know. When we say this, respect the W, it's actually a drill that we do, or different things. But we do embody or encompass a phrase every year that has kind of just come. Matter of fact, we just had a Spirit Sunday today that we introduced our theme to a lot of people. And this year it happens to be "We Are." And we didn't finish that sentence because a lot of times we'll chant "We Are the Berg" at Wheelersburg, but I stress to our team, as a man thinks, so he is. So what I really want to focus on our team this year is, what is your thought process? And if each one of you are focusing on being the best version that you can be for yourself, for this team, then together we are. And we can put so many things after that. And we started talking about, whether we are positive, we are believers, we are a fast football team, we are, so many things. And so we've just kind of been pushing each one of those terms this year. And each year we have a theme, and it kind of just comes as a resort of different things. Going back to Chip Otten, one of the things I learned in 2016, I said, man, you guys are so relaxed before they played our game. Of course, great team, but he said our theme that year was fast, loose, and focused. And he said we just talk about that all the time. And I thought, wow, you displayed it perfectly. We're all over there tight, never played in the state semifinal game, and they're just fast, loose, and focused. And so I took that learning moment and adopted that loose factor into our team that year, and that has taken us to another level just in itself. We already had all these different things, but just seeing that, you know, kind of blending, I guess, your last question in with this too. But anyway, that was that's our theme this year. We are, and we're kind of embodying
Coach?
I've never really been a mantra guy. I don't have exactly like a hashtag or anything like that, or exactly something that we hang up in the locker room or anything like that. I haven't done that. Maybe someday. We're talking about being a copycat. It's like all the good stuff seems like it's taken already. Like I'm gonna grab it from somebody else if I use it. I say all kinds of different things all the time. Most of the common sayings is either discussing just making sure we're being the best version of ourselves and we're getting the absolute best that we are capable of. Or once again, and I know I already kind of talked about it, it's just simply talking about hitting somebody and being physical. So anything along those two lines gets said all the time.
Coach Blair?
Yeah, kind of similar to Coach Ware's. It's not necessarily I've never really been a big mantra guy or like a catchphrase guy. This year like your first question, you asked what's been the focus. We just talked about being winners, thinking about winning, finding ways to win. That's kind of been our focus and what we've talked about all off season. And kind of, I guess if we were going to have a tagline this year, it would be something like that, finding a way.
Yeah. Win, period. Yeah. I like that. Simple enough. Coach Hoops?
This is going to sound really strange, but like, you have different sayings you say all the time. And I actually saw, I think it's D'Angelo Russell in the NBA, has a tattoo on his shoulder that says now, but the font of it is an alarm clock.
Mm-hmm.
So the time is now. And I thought, man, that makes a lot of sense. Like, you guys are only in high school for 4 years. You only get this opportunity, so not very often. So we've got to make the most of our time right now. Like, what are you doing right now to become better? Whether it's a better athlete or better student. So that's kind of what we've talked about a lot this off season. Is the time is now to become whatever it is you want to become. The biggest thing that we have is our time and how you spend it. So we've talked a lot about that.
Yeah. Coach Don?
Really big in the last 2 seasons on accountability. So we formed some accountability teams in the summer, and we put seniors in charge of it, and then we do a draft, just like the NFL draft, where they draft players based on if they're going to show up, if they're going to work hard. Grades is a part of that, but I kind of added a little piece to that, and it's play with the chip. And so we cut this giant wood chip. Of course, Paint Valley, we got the lumber guys, so we happen to know a few guys that would do that for us, and we got this big wood chip. And the team that has the least amount of points that week, they got to carry it wherever we go. Like if we're going to the weight room, if we're going out on the field, we're going to the sidelines. And it's just a reminder, that, we're counting on you guys. And, obviously there's things we feel like we left off the table last year that, we want to try to improve on and get better at. And we want to kind of play with a chip. I don't know, the kids kind of make fun of it, but they're not really laughing because this chip's not very small. It's actually, and it's bulky and it's really difficult, but I don't know, it's just kind of something cheesy and fun, but the kids have really embraced that, and hopefully at the end of this season, it's something that the kids can look back on and say, that really helped us and helped kind of make us tougher and make us better for this upcoming season. So.
Yeah. Even though they're making fun of it now, I hope they kind of see the
Well,
cause for it later on.
I'm waiting for one day to walk in and actually see it like in ashes. I think that's in their head. I know that, but
Yeah. All right, cool. So I kind of want to move a little bit to your communities. We'll start with Coach Dye on this one. What kind of impact does your team have on the community, or vice versa? What kind of impact does the community have on your
it's
team?
huge. Paint Valley is known for football. Not taking away from the other sports, but it's very important to our community. If we have an event for football, they show up. My first year there, during COVID year, which was tough times on all of us. first thing I had to do was try to raise some money for the football program. Well, that's kind of hard to do with the guidelines and everything. So we came up with a clever plan of doing a fish sandwich sale, and we did a drive-through.
Okay, yeah.
So it gave me an opportunity to meet the people from the community, and they were able to come and support it, and it was unbelievable. We sold out of fish in like 2 hours. And there was actually a line that went all the way out on Route 50, and I'm sure there were some people not happy with me, but we had to turn away.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show how important football is to our community, and we're very blessed because we have a lot of people come and support us in the games, and then obviously for different events like that. So.
Yeah, Coach Hoops.
You know, you notice it's kind of unique because it doesn't have its own, you know, there's no Bainbridge and Bourneville like Paint Valley has, Kingston and St. Trace, like, it's, you know, we're Chillicothe, you notice, so we kind of, you know, we're a little bit split in terms of how the community does support our football program and our school in general. Obviously, the school is very well supported by those that, you know, live in the school district, but it doesn't have that kind of small town feel in terms of some of the other schools that are around us. But, you know, our athletic programs are supported very well by our school district and the people that live in it. And, you know, we've tried to make some improvements to our football program over the last 3 years. We've got a new playing surface, we've got a new scoreboard, we've got new lights. It's just very well supported by the school and the people that do live in our school district, but it doesn't really have that kind of small town feel, kind of like that some other coaches get, you know, in our conference. But our kids and our programs are very well supported here.
Coach Bud.
Yeah, I mean, it's similar to these guys. Our program is very well supported by our community. Our school is very, very important to the people from southeastern Ross County. And they show up no matter if the teams have been good or bad or having a great year or a bad year. I mean, our gates are always big, the people always show up, and we never go without. If it comes to, we got people calling wanting to feed the team on Thursdays, on Fridays after school. I mean, I can't say enough about how good our community is to us. So, yeah.
Coach Wade.
Yeah. So once again, I'm fairly new to the area, and this is my first year, and I just kind of gotten out here in June. So I'll speak on my experience, what I can say. Just the way that people are looking to reach out and help parents, grandparents, just people that support the program. It's to the point. We had a scrimmage last Friday, and I got like 12 texts from different, just people contact me like, you need this, you need that. I'm like I'm trying to do some stuff. Like it's a good problem to have, but I'm trying to do some other things, but it's like I'm getting so many people offering to help. It's like it's almost overwhelming. Me just trying to get back to everybody that I need to get back to, whether it's clocks, chains. Let me set up this camera. Let me set up that. I got parents all the time just asking if they can donate water, granola bars, different things like that. We have a fridge right when you walk in our locker room. And they told me last year that parents just brought things, like just any random parent anytime. I have not talked to any parents, really. I haven't asked any parents for anything. Every day I come in there's a new package of Gatorade, water, fruit, something to eat for the kids, different things like that. So just in my short experience, I cannot say enough good things about the community members that I've dealt with and the support that they give. The little things in the areas, practice, camp, things that maybe you don't always think about, not just Friday night stuff, but like, let's make sure the kids are fed and have this, and this. It's been very great to deal with the people that I've dealt with at St. Trace so far.
Yeah. Coach Woodward.
Yeah, Wheelersburg, tremendous support. This is my 21st year at Wheelersburg, 16th as the head coach, but in my 21 years, I'd never been to Wheelersburg besides playing basketball one time in high school. But I've just been blown away by the community support. And this morning we had a Spirit Sunday at the local Methodist church where there was representatives from every program there, the teams, and then a speaker from each program that got up and delivered a message about their team and just something inspiring that they shared, and the support for that was tremendous. And pray for Pirate signs that we are able to put throughout the entire community, and we share with other schools in our district. And just in the event that we had our Meet the Teams last night, and the weather that was coming through kind of scared all of us, and we moved it over into the gymnasium, and that's something we may decide to do more often, because having that packed atmosphere in there just created electricity that you're not able to always generate outside. Of course, I love being on the football field, but it was just, it raised the level of the sound and just the energy, and the air conditioning was nice as well. Last night it was so hot, but yeah, great support at Wheelersburg always, and blessed to be a part of that.
Yeah. So real quick, this is going to be our last question. Give us a couple guys, some players to look out for, whether that be offense, defense, can be anywhere. So Coach Dow, we'll start with you.
Probably Carson Free, great wide receiver, had an unbelievable sophomore year, over 1,100 yards receiving. He's also pretty good on defense. Braylon Robertson, he had 1,400 yards rushing last year as a sophomore. And then Peyton Bell, he's our big offensive lineman, plays tackle for us. Had a really good year last year. So, we've got those guys, and we've got, some other guys that I feel like are going to really contribute this year. And pretty blessed to have a good senior group that works really hard, and really look forward to the season.
Yeah. Coach Hoops?
We return our senior quarterback. He's a 3-year starter, Newton Hoops. He was a district player of the year last year at quarterback. Has a tremendous work ethic. He's also my son, but I say this, I've never met an athlete that prepares like he does, or is so invested in the game of football as he is. He's always trying to improve and get better, and it's just really cool to watch. Talk about the other two guys that are actually here today. Jordan Perkins is a 3-year starter at right tackle, and plays some defensive end for us, and a lot of similarities to Newton. Great work ethic, great leader. Connor Dollison's another outside linebacker for us. He's here today as well. Just a really good athlete that is kind of had the injury bug his sophomore and junior year, and he's really transformed his body this off season, and hopes to stay healthy for a whole season. So those three guys are have had a really good summer for us, and like Coach said, we have several other guys that are looking really solid, but they got to prove it on Friday nights, and hopefully we'll have several names we talk about as well.
Yeah. Coach?
Yeah, we're lucky. We got a lot of guys back that have played a lot of football for us over the last 3 or 4 years. We got Ryan Peters, who will be a 4-year starter for us on the offense and defensive lines. Jacob Sheets will be a 3-year starter for us on the offense and defensive lines. He'll be a junior. Our starting quarterback's back this year. Joey Pfeiffer. We got Caleb Cutright back, who was a running back for us. He'll be a 3-year starter at running back for us as a junior. And then Gage Cheadle will be a sophomore wide receiver for us, and he's coming off of a season where he lettered as a freshman for us, and it was a big part of our offense. So we got several guys, like they've said, that I don't mention, but those are kind of the big names for us that we got coming back.
Yeah. Coach Reeves?
Yeah, I'm trying to run this question in my head and like narrow it down and not leave anybody out. I'm just going to say everybody that's coming to mind. I'm not going to try to overcomplicate the question, but there is quite a few names with me here today. Carter Langley's coming back at quarterback. I'm not even going to talk about his ability on the field. He's a great leader. He's just a joy to work with, and we talk about players holding other players accountable. That is what he does, and he does that for our team. Blake Phillips is coming back. He'll be a linebacker and running back. He's down here with us today too. I have 3 senior linemen that have done a great job so far. Spencer Brower, tackle, and then defensive end. He moved from linebacker to defensive end here. He's had a great camp scrimmages. I expect a monster year from Spencer Brower. JT Jenkins, Noah Fetters. Noah Fetters unfortunately had a foot injury. He's going to be out for the first couple weeks, but we're excited to get him back and plan on him having a big year when we get him back. Skill group and kind of receiving core. Aiden Dunn has made enough plays for a whole season already, and we've had 1 7-on-7 and 2 scrimmages. So he's having a great year. He had a really good year last year as well. Gunnar McCall is a sophomore that's going to be playing a lot for us this year. Silas Stewart. Riley Hartzall is also at running back too, and then he's playing in the DB, back in DBs this year as well. He went from linebacker to DB this year. I hope I'm not missing anybody, but those are the first things that jump to mind.
Yeah, Coach, we're about to go a little bit over, so just a couple names for you.
Yeah, 12 seniors, but I brought 4 with me today. Captains, Cole Eastet, 3-year starter at the tackle position. Creed Warren will be at the running back and has been an explosive player, special teams and defense for us as well. Cody Reiser in the tight end, defensive end will be solid. And then Landon Hutchinson, who was a honorable mention All-State outside linebacker, leading tackler last year. Actually had a stat in every single category for us defensively.
Yeah.
Really, I think the last 2 years is just the guy that's all over the ball. So a lot of youth, though. Expect a lot of athleticism from some young guys step up and make play.
All right, awesome. Well, that's it. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for being honest with your answers. As for the viewers, we had 2 more of these Coaches Roundtables before. We got 1 more to go. So stay tuned to all the Gridiron Glory social medias, and there's nothing better than Friday nights in Gridiron Glory.